Workers are not animals. Well, some workers are animals, but workers are not animals in that you can't just give the same rewards to all the workers. Just go, okay, well, that's a good puppy dog. Here's a nice reward. Here, have something. You can't just go, okay, I'm going to reward them in food or whatever. Different workers are going to require different rewards. Different situations are going to require different awards. So we need to look at all the different rewards and ways of rewarding workers for the work that they do, to really make a decision, an informed decision about what's right for a particular business. And again, this is where Section 3 is going to ask you to make a recommendation based on that particular business and their situation. So you need to know this stuff, know the different options, know the advantages and disadvantages, and then the only thing you really need to do yourself after you memorize all this is make that judgment in the exam about what your recommendation is after you've written all these different options. So when it comes to rewards, we're going to look at monetary versus non-monetary rewards. We're going to look at individual rewards versus group rewards, and we're going to look at performance pay versus no performance pay, using performance pay versus just giving everyone the same amount of money. So we're going to look at monetary versus non-monetary awards first. Monetary awards have the advantage of being very easy. You don't need to organize specific rewards. You just pay them, right? You don't need to talk to the employees, give them praise and all that sort of stuff. You don't need to organize company cars or childcare or anything like that. You just go, you know what? Here's your money. Go away. You did your job. Here's your money. The disadvantage, though, is that for a lot of people, money is not going to be a strong motivator. As long as their pay is above a certain level, they're going to look at other things about the business. And they're going to look at non-monetary rewards and take those into account based on their personal need for a particular monetary or particular non-monetary reward. So once you get to a certain pay level, or once you get to a certain skill level, you're going to focus more on the non-monetary rewards. As long as you're not going broke, I've seen people turn down jobs that make $20,000 a year more than their current job, and in your mind, that makes no sense if you're a young person, because you go, you know what, money, 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 money. But there really is more to life than money. Oh my God, I'm getting old. There really is more to it when it comes to your job, because you need to, go to a workplace every day, and you might need to drive an hour to get there. And you want something at the end of that hour, not just money, right? And you will work it out. Anyway, it doesn't matter. When it comes to non-monetary awards, there are a lot of advantages. Some of them are actually more useful than money. So if you've got childcare connected to your workplace, which a lot of larger businesses have now, they're not doing it because they love their employees. They're doing it because that means that the employee can stay longer and they don't need to leave to go and get their child from childcare. But it's more useful to that parent than money is. They may not get as much money, and if it's a large business, they got economies of scale. They have a lot of children in that childcare. Per person, it's going to cost them less, right, than paying them the extra amount so the person can put their child in childcare and then leave early and all that. So that might be a case for usefulness. They might also add more prestige. So, I've got a company car. They could pay you more, and then you could get your own car. You could lease your own Lexus or whatever. But it's better for them to give it to you because, my business, values me so much. I'm so valuable that they gave me a company car. Some of them aren't like that, though. Some are actually free, non-monetary awards like praise by managers or putting their name in the newsletter or whatever, or employee of the month. Those things are free or nearly free, and they can be huge motivators, especially for people who have emotional issues that need that kind of praise all the time, and they can be completely free, and you can get them to be more productive without spending a cent. The disadvantage, though, is that some workers who like money might feel like they're getting screwed out of money, right? Especially if some of these are useless to some workers. So if you have a childcare center at your work, but you don't have kids, you don't care that there's a childcare center at your work. You may not even, your pay isn't really getting docked or taken away to pay for that childcare center. But you're like, well, Stacy, who sits next to me, she's got free childcare. What do I get? Why don't I just get, an extra $10,000 a year or something like that? You might feel like you're getting screwed out of money. So those are the choices that you need to, make, and the decisions that you need to make. And those are the advantages and disadvantages for those. When it comes to individual or group rewards, this is the choice of whether to pay each member. Say you've got teams. Am I going to pay each member of the team differently according to their contribution, or am I going to pay them all the same? So maybe it's a sales team, and rather than making each person their own salesperson, and you get paid according to how many sales you made as an individual, you can encourage people to work as a team by going, you know what? You 5 are going to get paid the same. You are a sales team, so you are Team Alpha. You're all going to get paid the same. So you are going to work as a team. Now, the advantages of paying everyone individually is that it is more fair, right? You are getting paid according to what you did. And it also gives workers a good incentive to work harder, because if they don't, then they don't get paid, right? So it's pretty simple for them. The disadvantage, though, is that it might lead to unhealthy competition. You're not going to work as a team if you're getting individually rewarded based on, especially for sales. You might even go out of the way to sabotage other people so that your individual rewards are higher. And some workers might resent the fact that others get paid more, whether or not they deserve it, right? So a good example, and I hate using teaching as an example because it's not really a business. Well, the school that you go to might be a business, not mine. But for teachers, individually rewarding teachers compared to rewarding everyone, the same amount, it's really clear that teachers do need to work together, and I really wouldn't want to be a teacher if everyone was getting paid different amounts. Even though I would get paid the most, it doesn't matter, right? I wouldn't want to help anyone else. I wouldn't want to cover for other teachers or help them out or share resources or anything if it was individually rewarded. Now, when it comes to group rewards, the advantage is that it's going to encourage you to work as a group. And it can be seen as fair because the group is held responsible. And I guess if you don't, if your group doesn't get a lot of money, then you were kind of being held responsible, not just for the work, but for working as a team, right? So, you could kind of argue that, that person in the group did do the most work, but they didn't work as a team. Like, they didn't help the other 4 people increase their sales or anything. So that's why they're getting punished. But the disadvantage is obviously every time your teacher has told you, all right, we're going to do some group work, straight away you go, excellent, all right, group work. So we're just going to sit here and have a talk, and then we'll put something together the last minute. It does kind of lead to that mentality sometimes. And sometimes, if you are the hard worker, if you are the person who's always been screwed over every time you have to do group work, and when you get to uni, it's going to get worse. You're going to be doing group work with people that you can't stand. The free riders are going to take advantage of you because you don't want to miss out on money, so you're going to do their work for them. Right, and you can end up resenting your co-workers, and then you can end up resenting the managers, or the lecturers or whatever. You can end up resenting them for being held responsible for your co-workers because it's not fair, right? So that's the individual or group rewards choice. The last choice is whether to give people performance pay or no performance pay. So specifically, looking at things like bonuses and things like that. So a lot of the time, it's like, okay, you got this base wage, but based on your performance, we're going to give extra money. You can't just base it entirely on performance. Like you have minimum wage requirements and award requirements and stuff like that. But you can actually give performance pay based on whether they did a good job or whatever. Now, this isn't the choice of whether to give an individual employee performance pay or no performance pay. This is whether to use performance pay as a reward or to just not use performance pay as a reward at all. The advantage of performance pay is that it does motivate workers to reach a specific target. So if you set your targets right, if you say, all right, these are the 5 targets that I want you to reach in all different areas. I want you to reach, this level of sales, but I also want you to reach this level of customer satisfaction, based on feedback. You can set, if you set the rewards properly, if you set the parameters properly for what performance is, then you can motivate workers to reach those specific targets. It's also going to lead to a lower turnover rate. So if you have yearly bonuses, if you have annual bonuses, like your investment firm or something like that, people aren't going to leave in November, right? So you decide, all right, we're going to have performance pay so that we at least know that the workers are probably going to stay. They're not going to work for 6 months towards this goal and then just leave. It also means that people are paid according to the quality of their work. So even though you are paying an extra amount in performance pay, the extra cost is kind of offset by the higher quality. If you if they don't reach that standard, then they don't get the money, right? So you are only paying for the extra quality. The disadvantages are numerous, though. Performance in a lot of industries can be very, very subjective, right? It can just be based on opinion. That's what subjective means. So in some industries, it's entirely useless to have performance pay. It can also lead to unhealthy competition. People aren't going to, if they think that only a certain amount of performance pay is available, if only one person is going to get the big bonus, then they're going to sabotage each other rather than just work as hard as possible. And if they don't sabotage each other, at the very least, they're not going to work as a team. Workers who don't get that performance pay are going to feel undervalued. They might leave, they might give up. If year after year I miss out on the bonuses, then I might think, I'm just no good, or they don't like me, or I'm black, or whatever, right? I'm going to give up. I'm going to stop, trying that hard. It also leads to a short-term outlook for the business. All right, if you want your employees to be like well-rounded and do a lot of things in different areas, then performance pay is really not the way to go, because all they're going to be looking at is that carrot, is that performance pay, is that bonus. And they're going to look very, very specifically at what they need to do to get that bonus and forget everything else. They don't want to do anything else. They may do it, the workers who do it aren't going to get rewarded for it. So why would you do it? So like I said, if you set the right targets, then you can kind of avoid that. If you say, I want a range of different targets. We want to get to, this level in sales, but we also want to get to this level in, customer satisfaction. So we are going to set the right targets rather than not setting targets at all. The arguments for giving no performance pay, just deciding, we're going to pay people, by the hour, whatever, it's going to lead to a more collegial atmosphere, because people are going to think, well, we're not competing. There's no bonus down the line or anything like that. We're all getting paid the same. It can also be cheaper because you're not giving out those giant bonuses. But then again, you might not get that extra performance either. Workers might not feel as motivated if there's not going to be a bonus for them somewhere down the line. And staff are going to leave at any time that they really want. If there's no risk to a future bonus, they might, leave in February, or they might leave in November. It really isn't going to bother them, because they're not waiting for some possible bonus further down the line.